everyone, welcome back to I Create For You. We're back in the Lighthouse Ghosts and Legends book by Nina Kostopoulos, and let me tell you, this is my take 3 on this video. The first time I went to start to talk, my tongue was wrapped around something because I wasn't making any sense while I was trying to read. The second time I got through the whole story, even had some ramblings at the end, only for me to, instead of zoom you guys in on when I was going to start to draw, to stop, I accidentally stopped the video. So, this is take 3. Let's see how this one goes. Alrighty then. This is going to be story number 15, The Lady in Blue, from the old Hilton Head Leamington Lighthouse, Hilton Head, South Carolina. There's a glimpse at the spindly lighthouse. What I was rambling on about, which you didn't hear in the last one because I kind of stopped it, is the fact that I can't get over how tiny this lighthouse is up here for the lighthouse keeper and his family to live. I was also rambling to the point of these trees seem to be as tall as the lighthouse. How is that not obstructing the light for boats to see? Then I was thinking maybe the answer to that is this is an older picture after the lighthouse had no longer been in use and they let the trees grow. It doesn't really tell us anything. So I was just going by the picture that they gave us and assuming a lot of stuff. Like I said, it looks tiny to me, but maybe it's not that tiny. Sort of like one of the tiny houses of today. Okay, let's get back into this again. 3 times a charm, they say. The Lady in Blue, instead of red this time. Towering pines and sweeping oaks shade the charming island of Hilton Head, South Carolina, where, according to legend, a beautiful phantom wanders aimlessly beneath the trees. On dark summer nights, islanders have caught glimpses of a woman in a blue gossamer gown, here we go, stealing across moon-dappled lawns. For many years, the Lady in Blue has been as regular a fixture as the seagulls that dive in the water for silvery fish. The legend started many years ago after a lighthouse keeper died tragically during a storm. The first lighthouse on Hilton Head was built in 1881, standing at an impressive height of 136 feet. To me, that's 135 feet more higher than I would like. Anywho, the old lighthouse served in various capacities for years. Its shimmering light cast its beacon across the tumultuous Atlantic, safely guiding ships through the shipping channels. During World War II, the military used the lighthouse as a temporary base of operations. Anti-aircraft guns and ammunition sheds were placed carefully around the grounds, and the tower was used as a lookout for enemy ships. Today, the lighthouse stands on the Leamington plantation behind the tall pine trees of the Arthur Hills Golf Course at Palmetto Dunes Resort. A gated resort, Palmetto Dunes is a vacation spot for wealthy travelers. Amid such surroundings, the old lighthouse has been largely forgotten. There are no tours, no plaques, or historical signs to mark its existence, and no light that radiates from its tower. Golfers usually whir by in their carts without ever glimpsing the deserted lighthouse hidden away in the trees. Though the old Hilton Head Leamington Lighthouse is in many ways dead, the legend of the Lady in Blue is very much alive. In 1893, a formidable storm slammed into the coast. Just 12 years after the lighthouse had been built, lighthouse keeper Adam Fripp was faced with the most brutal and devastating night of his life. Winds tore into the lighthouse and lifted trees right out of the ground. Waves rose and crashed with tremendous force, and rain fell in heavy torrents. Inside the lighthouse, Fripp and his 21-year-old daughter Caroline fought to keep the lantern burning. They fueled the light and watched as the savage storm ripped across the island. Suddenly, with one fatal gust of wind, the windows of the lantern room shattered, sending shards of glass throughout the room. Fripp and his daughter threw their arms to their faces just as the wind extinguished the light and rain began pouring in through the broken windows. Fripp felt a sharp, gripping pain in his chest. He made for the light, but the pain was excruciating. He fell to the floor. With labored breath, he instructed his young daughter to keep the lantern burning. Caroline worked all night and all day to fulfill her father's dying wish. Then 3 weeks later, she died. Some say she died of exposure. Others say she died of a broken heart. Since that ill-fated night, Caroline's ghost has wandered the island in search of her lost father. Dressed in a long blue gown, she is seen most often on stormy nights at the top of the old lighthouse. During long bouts of wind and rain, she stands in the top window, guarding the waters as she did on the night her father died. And here's some a little more information on this. The Hilton Head Leamington Lighthouse is located on the exclusive Arthur Hills Golf Course at Palmetto Dunes Resort on Hilton Head Island. The community is gated and exclusive to residents and those visiting the resort. The lighthouse is privately owned and can be viewed by appointment only. For further information, it tells you who to contact or write to and gives a phone number and address. So, the last one we did had also lost her father and was looking out onto the stormy waters looking for her father. And this one's still looking for her father and tending the lighthouse. So I think I'm going to try to draw blah, 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 blah. What the heck? Must be all the heat here in PA. I'm going to try to draw the top of the lighthouse and have her looking out the window. This is like a very odd, this is really bothering me, this lighthouse, for some reason, because I think it's weird to have a lighthouse in a forest. I'm not getting the whole concept, but must have worked for a while. We'll see. I'm going to try to draw that, so I'm going to have to hold this here. This is the way I do it. This is the way I do it. Can you guys see me? Can you see me now? Okay. Enough of the weirdness. Let's see what... Oh, I almost did it again. My finger hovered above that square, which stops the video. Gotta get this one right here. Right. Oh, there you are. Sorry about that. If I would have had to do this a fourth time, I think I just would have moved on. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to make it a lot larger. And it looks like it's shaped like this at the top. Like I said before, me and architecture do not mix. And I'm going to put that little light beacon thing up top here. All right, now we're going to have I'm trying to make it look as though we are looking up at it from the ground a little bit, and that's how you would see her. This is showing to go look like that, because they have, I hope you guys can see me good. They have a railing here, which I'm going to make darker. Make the rungs here, or whatever the heck you call them. And she's going to be in the top window here, watching for her father. That must have been something when that happened, and to have all that glass just blow in at you like that. That's so horrible. I wonder if, you know, in that 3 weeks, if she was still tending it, or if they just, you know, didn't have anybody in there because of it being the storm taking it out a little bit with all the glass and stuff. So this is also a deck of some sort. It sounds like outside I'm hearing, you know how weed whackers sound like a gigantic mosquito? So either our town is being attacked by a swarm of gigantic mosquitoes, or my neighbor is finally weed whacking the side of his yard. And then I had another sight with my other neighbor. I came home today and I'm looking out and I'm like, what is going on? See, right near our backyard is the Schuylkill River. And you can go rafting on there, and you can, you know, float down the river and, you know, get picked up. You know, you put your, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, people will drive to a certain point called the Burn Bridge, which is the ways down the river. And then I believe 2 people will drive to that point. Then in 2 different cars. And then they'll drive back to where they're putting their rafts in, you know, which is usually right back here behind our house. And then you can float down the river to where your vehicle is. So that's what they do here. And so that's the reason I'm talking about that is I look out the window and there's river tubes that you sit in when you go sitting in the river all along our lawns. Now our lawns are like right next to each other, but they look like they're strategically placed, because here I'm going to show you. Like, we're looking outside here. There's a shed out here, right? And there's a inner tube there. Then there's a shed back here, and there's an inner tube like right here. And then there's a inner tube over here. Now, these are pretty far away from each other, these buildings. And then there's one willy-nilly in the middle of the yard. Now, the neighbor that owns all these lives way over here. That's part of his backyard. So we're trying to figure out why all these, because it's not a windy day. So, and they're big and heavy enough that they're not going to get, because we have a set of those, that they're not going to get blown. So, yeah, it's just weird. I mean, some things are, weird crap happens every now and then that you just can't figure it out. Then when you go onto your community page and mention something, you're a Karen because you're complaining about something stupid. No, I'm curious. What can anybody make sense of this? Well, I mean, like, I don't care that those inner tubes are out there. I'm just thinking, was there a purpose? Was there some hidden agenda that I'm not catching on to? That that we were all was this put your floaties in your yard day and we missed out on that event? Yeah. Who knows? This also has a railing here that goes across. And this way. Oh, yeah, I already did the railing. Well, that's right. This one has a double railing. Duh. Okay. I'm not as bad off as I thought I was. But that one goes like this because it has like the double part up there. I'm okay, folks. It's the heat. I'm going to blame it on the heat. Today I set up at a farmer's market. This morning I was there by a little before 6:30, and then I had to quit at 11 because, man, it was brutal out there. Usually, you know, when you set up at this farmer's market, you could stay the day until the market is closed. There was no way I'm staying till 4 o'clock in this heat, and I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, oh yeah, just what I need, not to feel well and make myself sick over a few bucks. Okay, so there's our lighthouse. It'll look better once we zoom out. Now, I guess I should do her standing in front of the window. Now, she isn't that tall. Dang it. Standing in front of the window. I'm just going to make a ghostly figure. I know when she's walking down here where the trees are, she is seen in a blue dress, but I don't know if she's seen, I can't remember now. I've only read the story 3 freaking times, and you'd think I could remember some of this, but I don't know if she's if they can see the blue dress when she's up in the window. It's been one of those days all week so far, and it's only Wednesday. Go figure. If you can't figure out what this is, I'm trying to make the trees. Oh my. I don't know. I'm kind of liking the building. I didn't do too bad this time, like I normally do. It's fairly decent looking. I've noticed traveling like to places like like where we're going in less than a week, to Wyoming to visit my son. The trees out that way are like straight up and down, and they're actual like the nice pine trees. I love drawing those. I can draw those a heck of a lot better. But here in Pennsylvania, they remind me of broccoli. They're just like bushel mushroom-headed tree looks. In fact, when my son and his fiance visited last year here, his fiance and her daughters had never been to PA, and they just couldn't get over how many trees we have here. Now they live in Etna, Wyoming, so it's like somewhat of a difference, you know, and their trees. I really like the landscape there. Okay, let's try to zoom out. Why does my finger want to hover over the stop button all the time? Somebody must be telling me something. So there it is. There's the lighthouse. There she is looking out. At a lighthouse in the woods. You know, maybe it could have been a beacon for spaceships. Who knows? You know, they hover over the forests and stuff and help Bigfoot find people? I don't know. Or, you know, pick up Bigfoot. So they say he's a interdimensional being, but I know differently. He's not. He's just the hairy man of the woods. Alrighty. Whew. Thank goodness I made it through this one. So, adding the beacon of the light. Ah, as they say. Anyway, thank you for stopping by, listening to my funky story today, or interpretation of it, or whatever you want to call it. My stumbling, my ramblings, my silly drawings, my other silly stories. Hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up, please, if you liked it. Comment. Let me know your ideas about this weird weirdly situated lighthouse. What are your thoughts on it? Have you seen it? Maybe you live near it. I don't know, but it's just, I might have to Google this. It's going to bother me so much. But I hope to see more of you in the next one, because I think we only have 2 or 3 more and then we're done. So I'm going to try to squeeze them all in before we leave on July 1st. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.